Hey yo, what's good everybody? It's your boy Matthew Maley for MatthewMaley.com coming at you with another poker recap video, as you can tell by being in the poker room here. I know I've been slacking off a little bit. Work's been kind of crazy, but now that it's official, poker is my new career. At least it's going to attempt to be. As far as I'm concerned, I'm in spring training for the World Series. This is my spring training. So I've, decided to really commit to the grind and try to get to the casino at least 4 to 5 times a week, if not more, once I get closer to the summer and the World Series. So decided that I was going to head out to the casino with a couple of my boys and play the 2-3 game. And for those of you who don't know, in Arizona we have a limit on how big the bets can be. So technically, we don't have any no-limit games per se. This game's setup it's called 2-3. So the blinds are $2 and $3. That's one of the things you just got to deal with when you're playing on the Indian reservations or Native American reservations. You're gonna get taxed pretty heavily, and it's a 2-3 300. So the max buy-in is 300, but the max bet is also 300. So you could bet 300. If I had the chips, I could raise you 300. You could raise me another 300, but 300 is the max bet. So it's essentially no limit, considering the fact that you can buy in for 300. So it's pretty much no limit. So I've always had some issues with this game. I'll admit that, even when it was back in the tents, back when it was just Casino Arizona, before I had a talking stick and the reservation. I'm sorry, a resort and all that. When it was just the tents, I've always had trouble with this game. Back when it was the 3-5 150 game or the 2-3 150 game, I had a problem with it then too. I've always found that I can never get good enough traction in this game, and that I'm always fighting from behind, that I lose a good 50 to 100 chips pretty quickly, and that it's always a bleed. Even if I play for 4 hours, for 6 hours, I feel like I'm always playing from behind. And when I finally get close to unstuck, or I finally get a little traction, some hand happens that either I make a dumb play, I just make a bonehead move, or I just get cold decked, and next thing I know, I'm back where I've been for the past multiple hours trying to claw my way back up. And that's just how it's always seemed. Now, some of you might say, well, then pick another game. Your game selection is horrible. I agree with that. Maybe I should. But I hate limit. And I'm just not a good limit player. And I'm really trying to get serious about my no-limit game before the series, because my goal is to play cash all week, as I mentioned, and then on the weekends play tournaments. So I'm going to be playing more cash than anything during the summer. So buy in for 300, get there, and so I've got to wait a few hands to come in. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I'm sitting there waiting and watching, some of the players and trying to get a little bit of an idea as to who to look out for, whatever. So I end up I kind of see this guy sitting too next to me, that he's kind of an amateur player, really constantly checking his hole cards, fumbling with his chips, things that, while they don't seem like much, really could be giving some information. Also things that I don't feel he was doing intentionally to try and set up the table. He didn't look like he was, attempting to do these tricks and tactics to throw us off. He just looked like he was legitimately a newer player and wasn't really that comfortable. So, very first hand, I pick ace-queen. I pick up ace-queen suited on the big blind. Yeah, because I posted... No, I'm sorry, it was on the button. It was on the dealer button. Because I waited until it came to the button, and then I ended up playing the button. So, I ended up picking up ace-queen. It had gone all the way around. 3 people had called. It comes to me, I raise it up to 12. Again, 2-3 games. 12 is a pretty standard raise. Anywhere from, I have seen some people raise to 6, but it's just a pot builder. Anywhere really from 9 to all the way up to like 18 or so is a pretty standard, which is 3 to 6 times the big blind. So pretty standard for that game. 18 is a little more rare. 12, I would say, 11 or 12 is by far the most common. So, comes around to me, I raise to 12, and I get 2 people that call. All right, cool. So, decent sized pot now. There's 36 plus the other I think 3 people that had called. So about $45 in the pot, I guess you could say. Flop comes out. I hit my queen. Boom. Beautiful. Problem is there are two diamonds on board. Yeah, there are 2 diamonds on because I had ace queen of clubs, and I believe it was like queen 7. I don't remember what the other card was, and the queen and the 7 were diamonds. So I, flopped the wrong color, but I flopped top pair, top kicker. So with the pot of about 45, I ended up putting in a bet of 25. So decent, decent sized bet. Really trying to figure out where I'm at. It had been checked to me. So I'm really trying to figure out where I'm at. I'm assuming I've got the best hand. Maybe somebody flopped 2 pair or, flopped a set, because I did raise pre-flop, so maybe somebody was sitting with a, set of 7s. But I figured with the flush draw out there, the set of 7s would probably raise, or even a flush draw might raise on a semi-bluff at that point and just try to take the pot down right there. Who knows? So comes around to this guy who I'd seen check his cards before, and he checks his whole cards again and then makes the call. All right, I bet the 25 into the pot, so he was getting 3 to 1 on his money, almost 2.5 to 1 on his money if he was drawn to the flush. Still not the correct price, but okay. Maybe he's factoring in implied odds. Turn card hits, another blank. I believe, I want to say it was a 3 or 4. Trey or 4. Again, no club. I'm sorry, no diamond, which is all I'm caring about. Again, I bet. Now this time I bet a little bit harder because I'm at this point assuming that, I don't know, it just kind of clicked. I'm like, this guy has a flush draw. This is just what he has. He checks his whole cards again. Like, he can't remember what they were. And so I bet 55 into the pot. So at this point, he's going to have to pay 55 to get to a pot of about 125. So not even 2.5 to 1. Well, barely 2.5 to 1. So again, totally not giving him the correct odds to draw to his flush. Yes, you could say if you include implied odds, if you really thought he could get my whole stack, which, whatever. So he ends up checking his cards one more time and then calling. And it was a pretty quick call, too. Like, surprisingly, for a $55 bet, pretty quick call. So now the pot's about $170. And sure enough, another diamond falls. And as soon as it falls, he instantly looks at his chips, then he looks at his cards again, then he looks back at his chips. I don't know if you realize that the action was on him, so therefore my eyes would be on him or what, I don't know. But I'm looking at him, and he has the most shaking hand I've ever seen. He reaches back for a stack, knocks the ones over on top, grabs 100, grabs another, does he want to do 4 or 3? Just grabs the stack. As he's going to fold it, he knocks it over. I mean, all the tells in the book. And it's one of those things of, a lot of people say, well, tells are BS, tells don't really matter. And then other times tells matter. Tells really tell the story. And I just look at him, and I know it. I know he's got 2 diamonds under there. And, I mean, just how he's acting. He's not acting as though, it's not like it's Phil Ivey doing this. Phil Ivey's doing this. I'm assuming he's trying to bluff or do something that I can't even comprehend because he's so damn smart. But this just seems like the most basic play. So I think about it for a second, and I just look at him like, I said something like that. I'm like, your flush is good. I show the ace queen. And I made some comment about, flush. He's like, yeah, I didn't get it on the other hand when he looked at his cards a couple times, a few hands before. He was like, I got it that time. I'm like, yeah, pretty obvious you did. So that pot really hurt. And what do you know? First-handed, I'm down over a stack. I'm down over a stack of chips, over 100. Just like that. I play with nickels, so down over a stack of nickels, just like that. It's just all coming back to me, I haven't played this game in forever, and it's still the same thing. So I end up, hand through 2 after that, picking up a hand. I think it was a rotation after that. I picked up a hand on the small blind, kind of a rag hand. I think like a king 9 type of hand. But I ended up, I'm sorry. It was 9-8. And actually flopped a 9. The flop came up like queen 9-4 or something. So I ended up checking. I called the whole way down, and Ended up, the guy had 10-9. So I'm 9-8. He has 10-9, then 10 plays. So that would really hurt. That would ended up being about another 50 or 60 chip pot. So now I'm down, you know, not doing too well. I'm down to about like $1.20 or so. And it was brutal. I ended up trying to grind my way out, you know, picking up pots here, making a couple moves, but I could never get my footing. Like, as soon as I would make a couple moves and build my stack back up to, you know, $1.50, $1.80, I would, you know, call a raise pre-flop and then have to muck. Or I'd raise pre-flop, get re-raised and have to muck. Or I'd raise pre-flop, flop comes out, continuation bet, and get raised. Not connect and have to flop, and have to fold. I just keep saying flop, I'm sorry, I meant fold. It's been a long night. So it ended up, I got back down to about 100, and it was tough, honestly. It was really tough. But I didn't feel like I was playing badly, honestly. I felt like I was playing all right. Ended up, built a little bit more up, and then I don't know, it was weird. Like, something kind of changed, and I started playing kind of badly, but I started getting rewarded for it. I mean, making some bad calls with hands I shouldn't have, out of position, just because I wanted to see the action, or just, I don't know, I just kind of wanted to change my game up a little bit and play a little more maniac-y. I kind of felt a little Gus Hansen-ish. And, you know, he's always said, well, when you're stuck, you got to play more hands, you got to connect. And it kind of worked. I was hitting some hands, making some crazy plays, and was able to take down a couple pots. Then actually got a really good situation to re-raise with Ace-King when there had already been a raise and a re-raise, and I ended up shoving. Actually, no, I'm sorry, one person had called the re-raise. So it was actually decent. The raise was to like 12. The re-raise was probably 24, and another person called, and I shoved. I really thought one of them was going to call. I mean, they had pretty good pot odds. I only had like 100. It's only about 100 more. And people will shove 100 light a lot of times. I guess I had a tight table, which I don't know, but they both folded. So I finally gotten back up to unstuck. 300 back, shiny, 3 stacks of nickels. I'm feeling good, right? Feeling good. All right. So I pick up Ace-King. Good hand. But I decided I'm going to play this one a little bit more trappy, I guess you could say. Rather than 3-betting or even 4-betting it, I've decided I'm just going to call the raise and see what happens. Honestly, I felt pretty good about it. I was under the gun when it first happened. So I just smooth called under the gun. Then somebody 3 positions after me raised. 2 people called, came back to me, I called. So flop comes up, king, queen, 9. Texture didn't matter. No straight, no flush draw. I mean, still technically there's a little bit of straight draw, but no flush draw. So I feel pretty good about it. I end up throwing a little bet out there. I want to say, no, I'm sorry. This is where I get exhausting. I apologize. I actually checked. Still play trappy. I checked. The guy in 2 after me to act ends up throwing out a bet. I want to say like 25. Ends up 2 people fold. The other 2 people fold. It comes to me. I end up smooth calling. Hindsight, I probably should have popped it there just to see where I was at. Get kind of an idea. But I was playing trappy. And because I was playing trappy, I didn't. This is where I ask you guys what you think I should have done. There's that's the asterisk 1. Look at that. What should I have done? Should I have repopped it? Let me know. The guy that was in the pot with me was a pretty solid player from what I found. Was running pretty well. Was up for the day. And overall, the hands I'd seen him show were pretty solid hands. Turn card hits a queen. Now, it's a scary hand because obviously ace-queen just got there. King-queen just really got there. You know, even a queen-jack hand, a queen-10 that could have called me that spot, got there. But I also think there's 2 queens on board, so it's the likely he has one in his hand. So I bet. This time, taking the lead. I'm figuring, you know, let's just take this pot down here. I bet. Could I have been more, you know, slow play? Yeah, I probably could have. But I didn't. So I bet about 35 or 40 into the pot. Decent sized pot. at this point, you know, because he had bet, I believe, 20 or 25 on the flop. So he ends up calling, and on the river, I don't improve, but it's a total rag card. It's like a deuce of hearts or a tray of clubs on the river. I mean, just the ultimate card that could not have helped any hand. And I end up checking. I don't really know why I checked there. I don't know why I gave up control of the hand, but I did. I checked, and he ends up putting in, like, I want to say almost $100 bet. And oh God, I think about it, and for probably 2 minutes, I'm just sitting there thinking. And I'm, you know, the straight didn't come, and in my mind, the only hand that could beat me is a queen. Is a queen, or maybe he had pocket nines, and he flopped a 9 and turned it into a boat. But I mean, I'm really thinking the queen. But I'm also thinking I do have 2 pair. I've got, you know, kings and queens. This is a good hand here. But at the same time, it is only 2 pair. Needless to say, I called. And he rolled over ace queen. So he got there. He got there hard on the turn. Had him crushed pre-flop. Had him crushed on the flop. And he had me crushed on the turn. So that ended up costing me over 150 chips. And that really changed the momentum. I had finally just gotten back up to unstuck. It was this monumentous feeling. I felt good about it. And then this happened. And it really, I don't know, like, to say it hurt or that it threw me off my game sounds bad, but it did. I mean, and it should, no poker player should, I mean, all poker players get tilted at some point, but it wasn't even that I was tilted. I just felt like I was just started playing badly. And now I'm down to like, 140 chips. I end up picking up a hand that, I'm sorry, actually ended up calling the guys all in. I flopped the flush. He runners a full house. It was ugly. Ended up, that would hurt me as well. So now I'm down to like 40 chips. And I'm the type of person I usually won't reload unless I'm totally out. I just don't like doing it. I mean, certain situations I have, but for the most part, I'm not going to reload unless I'm totally dry. So I end up shoving. I shove with, I think I had like 38 left. And had ace-9 of diamonds. Love that hand. I always have. So I shoved. And this is after, like, I believe I did those small blinds. So there was already probably 4 or 5 callers. There had already been a raise. I think the hijack raised. So now I re-raised, shoved. 2 people called. One off, or hijack and dealer. No, one off the hijack and hijack. So flop comes out 2 diamonds. Cool. Flop comes out 6-3-6. All right. Awesome. So I'm like, whatever. Let's hope we see another diamond. Cool. Turn card hits a diamond. All right. Super awesome. Now I've got my nuts flush. I feel great. Sure, the boat's kind of scaring me, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know. I'm not that scared, I guess you could say. You know, I just kind of feel like whatever. So ends up, I mean, I'm assuming we're probably just going to see him check it down and, you know, I'll take over this big pot. Ends up, he bets, he calls, and we were only 3 in the pot. You know, I'm all in. Turn card hits, what was it? I'm sorry, the river card hit a blank, I think. So I've still got the flush, but there is the possibility. He bets again. He raises. He re-raises. He calls. He rolls over 6-3. He rolls over pocket, pocket 3s. Yeah. He rolls over pocket 3s. So he had 3s over 6s. He has 6s over 3s. It was ridiculous. So I'm sitting there with you know, my nut flush, and I even show it to the guy, to the dealer. I'm like, really? And he'd already done it to me earlier, where I had the flush, and it ended up getting boated, you know, on the river. So I showed it to him again. I'm like, really, man? Showed it to everybody and mucked, and that ended up knocking me out. So ended up, had a $300 loss for the night. Wasn't horrible. I'm a little upset with how I played after that big hand because I do feel that I got off my game a little bit and I should have shown a little bit more discipline to just get up and walk away rather than they're really paying off a couple of hands I shouldn't have and just making some donkey moves, honestly. But at the end of the day, it still felt great to get on the felt. Still felt great to get some time in. You know, to get to check in at the table, get to check out, order my chicken chow mein, all the necessities that I do when it comes to playing cards at Talking Stick. But it definitely felt good for that. I'm excited to get back out of the felt, and I'm definitely going to be hitting it up a lot more going forward. So definitely keep checking back and check out my poker recaps. Like I said, I'm curious to hear what everybody's opinion is. Do you think I should have re-raised on the flop when it came up King, Queen, 9? Really to see where I was at. Maybe I should have. I don't know. Let me know. Send me a message. Send me a response video. Leave me a comment. Whatever. I'm just curious. I definitely am curious what you guys think. All my fellow poker pros out there. Or poker players. I can't even say fellow poker pros. Though I guess technically I don't have a job and I'm playing poker. So there's probably a lot of other people that call themselves professional poker players that fit that criteria. So, damn it, I'm a professional poker player. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. I'm always curious to hear your opinions and all that. So, once again, I am Matthew Maley. This is MatthewMaley.com. Thank you, as always, for checking out my videos. Let me know what you guys think. And hopefully you like the recap video. Give you guys an idea how everything's going. Stay tuned. Lots of videos going to be popping up here soon. As always, you can check me out directly on MatthewMaley.com. Click on the video blog tab. You got everything there. You can also drop me a comment on there. Or you can check me out on YouTube. All these videos are there for all your viewing pleasure. Search for Matthew Maley Poker. You can see my whole channel. You can subscribe to the channel. You can like this video. You can comment on this video. You can up this video. You can do everything. And I appreciate it. You can also follow your boy on Twitter at Matthew Maley. I'm always tweeting up on there. And of course on Facebook, search for Matthew Maley Poker and like the page on there and suggest it to your friends. So until the next video, I am officially signing off. Peace out, everybody.